everyone, I'm back with another video on Marvel Rivals, and today I want to talk about the curve type for controller players. I noticed that there are 3 different curve types. I'm pretty sure the dual, well, let me start with the dual zone S curve is for you to make a custom curve setting, and then there's presets, the linear and exponential curve. So a lot of new players, I think, in other games, they start with exponential curve as like the default. I think this is not that good. This is more for players who they just cannot like aim. They move their thumbstick way too much, so they can't like be precise. So it's kind of for noobs, right? But once you begin to learn how to aim, people usually move to the linear curve type. Linear curve type is a 1-for-1 of you moving your thumbstick and it reaching the enemy. It's a 1-to-1 of you moving your thumbstick and actually reaching them at the same pace that you move your thumbstick at that threshold. So, in other words, what that means is if I aim at their head and I strafe, it should be still in their head without me having to put in more threshold for me to keep on their head or let go of threshold to still stay on their head, which is what I'm doing right now. This one seems like a big issue, but it can affect your gameplay mid-match if you're in a fight and you need to clutch a 1v1. So, as you can see, I have this on linear curve. This is not it. This is not a real linear curve. This graph is false. It does not do what it's showing, and you cannot check yourself to see to even tweak it or make adjustments. So people have been trying to make their own curve type, and this is mine. It's not a 1-to-1 of linear curve type, but it's pretty close. It's very, very close. So as you can see, I can still track their head. I can go around in a circle, still tracking their head consistently. Granted, I'm not the best at keeping my thumbstick still at one threshold, but it's still consistently staying on their head, right? Unlike the linear curve type you are given as a preset. My assumption is because the minimum range threshold, which is more of like your minimum to median range threshold of you keeping your crosshair still, your thumbstick still, and having it track the enemy, I assume it's probably at 50. So the input delay is probably half this value of the total crosshair. So you have to consistently keep on readjusting your thumbstick because it'll just keep drifting onwards and feeling very sluggish. You don't want that. That's not what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to be very low, 5 to 7. So you have to keep it at 5. You keep it at 7, right? Anything above or below, it starts to feel very wonky and not what you want. I notice with me doing research and looking at other videos of people trying to replicate a linear curve type, they put this at 40 to 80. Don't do that. Don't do that. This is the maximum threshold. You want this at as high as you want, as high as you possibly can, so you can have it feel more responsive when you're aiming around and jumping from enemy to enemy, so it feels much more better, right? So it's not really a big sweat. Yeah. People usually put this at 80. Again, you want this as high as possible to replicate linear curve type. Same thing with the minimum curve statistics and statics, minimum curve statics. You want this at 55. It just lets you have sharper adjustments at mid tilt, so it makes it more easier for you to not slip your shots, and it doesn't feel as like floaty, so it feels more sharper, but it doesn't feel heavy. And then the custom maximum dual zone curve. Aim sensitivity is mildly adjusted at low and high stick tilts with a sharper adjustment at mid tilt. So it just makes it feel better overall when you're trying to track someone who is an air target. I'm gonna put an Iron Man. So where's Iron Man? Right. Okay, I'm not really good at tracking mid-air targets, but I'll give you a demo. They strafe too much in the training room. But yeah, as you can see, it feels much more better to track them. I, however, really suck at following aerial heroes. So, yeah, but as you can see, it's much more easier than using the linear curve type, which is what this is meant to be. See, like, I had to reload, and it feels very slow and sluggish to track. But it's not impossible to kill them. It's just more challenging to do so. But yeah, it doesn't feel as heavy when you're using this. And again, I'm not going to say that this is a complete replica of linear curve type, but it's very close to it. It's like a solid 98% similarities to linear curve type of what it's meant to be. But yeah, that's all I have to show you guys today. Again, if you see anyone put the custom minimum range over 7 or even 10, just click off that video and find another one if you want a second opinion. You always want this as low as you can, which is 5 or 7, and not at 80 to 50, because you are delaying your thumbstick to where it's meant to be going, your crosshair. So yeah, you really don't want to mess with that if you want a linear curve type. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about, and hope people see this video and they try this out. That is all. Goodbye.